Thank you for joining me on our Fitness Franchise Business Secrets podcast. Is this your first time on a podcast?
Absolutely.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
I get nervous because A, it's being recorded. B, I feel like I sound like a country bumpkin sometimes. But you look great. You feel great. Your arms are jacked. And
That's all that matters.
I am so excited to have you on this podcast because we worked together for 12 years now.
Yes.
Is it?
We'll do the story, but it's longer.
Yes, it's okay. Yes,
So professionally, 12 years.
12 years, but we've known each other for
longer.
a lot longer.
Yeah.
So let's start there. Just so we can get a background, because I think the value that you add to Iron Tribe is, immeasurable. But I really believe it comes from that first interaction you ever had with Iron Tribe.
Yeah.
And it's built over the years. But you have a very unique experience that I think allows us to multiply passion in our coaches. So give me a little bit of a background on your experience with Iron Tribe from the beginning.
Yes, I do think it's unique because I think first off, as you'll hear, I was a client as a user of the product. So I feel like my perspective,
one of the very first clients.
Yeah, so I feel like my perspective on a lot of things is very unique. So let's take it back 13 years. 2010, me and my husband were moving back to Birmingham. He's military. We were gone for some military stuff. Moving back to Birmingham. That's where I'm from, Birmingham. My previous life, I was a competitive gymnastics coach. When I went to school at Alabama to study exercise science, I thought that's what I want to do. I want to own a gymnastics facility, be the absolute best in the state of Alabama, and take over the world in the gymnastics space. But moving back to Birmingham, I was like, I could totally go back to what I was doing, coaching gymnastics. But I was really burned out, like extremely burned out.
Yeah.
I mean, the gymnastics world, I had been doing, some sort of after school competitive sport since I was 7 years old. And coaching it, though I loved it, I didn't want to go to work. My passion was gone. I was super bummed. Have you ever had like a passion leave?
Listen, it's almost impossible to get out of bed. Money doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
My passion was gone,
Yep.
and I was so sad. I didn't want my passion to be gone.
Well, a lot of times that happens when people, when they turn their hobby into their job, all of a sudden they don't even like it anymore.
No, I was super bummed. So I was like, I got on Google and I Googled fitness.
I was like,
I
I
have this exercise science degree. What can I do with it? I didn't really know anything about fitness space, though I'm very fitnessy. So I Googled fitness in Birmingham, and actually Iron Tribe popped up first. So good job.
Hey, whoever did it back then.
Good job, marketing team.
Yes.
So it popped up first, and I looked at it, researched it, and I was like, well, this looks very cool. I had never seen anything like it. Let me just check the gym out. So literally the day that the moving truck was at my new house that I had just purchased, I told my husband, I'll be back. I'm just going to check out this gym. He's like, who are you? So I walked in the gym, and everyone was upside down.
Oh,
and
gosh, which fits your...
I was like, adults upside down, this is my place. I don't know what y'all do here, but adults upside down, I'm in. So I signed up then. I loved it. At the time, I bought the lowest package of credits you could buy because I wasn't quite sure I was going to like it.
Well, we were children then, too.
Yes.
Still figuring out life.
Right. So I bought those, and then I spent all of them in half the amount of time I was actually supposed to use them.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, how can I keep coming? So anyway, so I loved it. I loved the experience. I loved the coaching. I loved the clients that, were my people, hanging out with. I don't know. I loved everything about the gym, the vibe, the competitive spirit of it. Everybody's in there working their tails off differently, but everybody's working their tails off, you know? So I loved it. So that was me as the client. And that's how I kind of get my foot in the door. And eventually, I guess that was September 2010. And then November 2010, I had heard about we were going to grow. When I say we, the gym was going to grow. 280 was probably going to be a thing.
And that was our second location ever.
Yes, the second location was going to open. And I kind of, one of the guys there working me and him were talking about, what do you do? And I was like, well, I gymnastics coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, would you consider, coaching here? And I was like, well, actually, the only reason I'm here is because I Googled you because I wanted to find a job in fitness, but I just joined the gym because I didn't know about barbells.
Right.
And so I was like, my personality is master and then put my name in the hat. That's how I am. So I was like, I need to learn everything about you guys before I raise my hand and say I want to work here.
Yep.
So yeah, that was kind of a long situation because the gym had to open. I actually ended up not coming on board until maybe May of 2011. But yeah, that's kind of how I got in the gym.
So you come on as a coach. What was that experience like?
So naturally, I'm a little bit more introverted, a little bit more shy. So it was kind of a big step because I'm used to working with kids.
True.
So kids, I could tell them anything. I could say, stand on one foot and put your finger up your nose, and they do whatever Coach Jessica says. But in this space, it was all peers and adults. And so that was kind of a big hurdle for me to get over. I was also really young.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, everyone was older than me, and I felt like, wow, I have to perform, and this is a lot. So at first, I was very thankful to work with really strong mentors that knew my insecurities and did not hang me out to dry.
That's important.
That they worked together to kind of find my sweet spot, which I'm very thankful for.
That's awesome. So with that, you said two things. One, you said perform. I think that's really important for people to hear that we're on, when we're in front of clients. Not fake.
No.
But you have to turn something else on. And that you are able to receive feedback that now you're poised to give.
Yeah.
So talk about the importance of now that let's go a little bit into currently your role is you help hire coaches. You're the first point of contact. You take them through the whole process. We do personality tests, you do phone interviews, you do in-person or videos, whatever that looks like. So for our corporately owned gyms. And then additionally, you train coaches brand-wide. So they'll come here, watch videos before they come, they'll train. You ended up being top coach in the brand. I mean, people still talk about Jessica Parks when she used to coach. I mean, you just have this aura about you because you took your job seriously. You do try to master things before you teach. And now, well, again, I keep going back and forth. You want to be a mom. You're a mom of 3 now. But you still have this passion, and you had this skill set for us that we needed in our brand because you have a passion, you have a skill set. So to figure out a role for you couldn't coach. You have 3 kids.
Yeah.
You are juggling a military husband and single momming it a lot by choice. I get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to figure out a position for you, and what that is super part-time, but you're so present around training coaches and hiring. So tell me how your background of all of that, perfecting it, getting feedback, giving feedback, has now instilled in you the ability and the confidence to lead and grow from the front our people.
Yeah. So I love the brand. So because client first, paying money to come to Iron Tribe, I love the brand. So it's really important to me that the brand continues to be strong, and I'm very passionate about that. When I walk into anybody's shift, if they're new, if they're a veteran, if they're from previous experience, coaching, real estate, personal training, whatever their background is, it should always have a certain feel as an Iron Tribe brand. So I'm very passionate about that, about replicating that. And like you said, and I said, I like to master a system, create a way to do things, and then keep repeating it. That's how I'm wired. I like to master a system. With a brand and a feeling with humans, it's kind of an art. It's more it's more of right. It's more of a finesse. I feel like, in a way, working with kids for so long and seeing all these different little personalities
Mm-hmm.
and how they're all different.
Mm-hmm.
I think that can help when I'm working in training adults because we're not robots.
No, yes, that's so true.
And, for some people, I can straight talk them and they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next person, I straight talk them and they cry.
Yes.
And
sometimes it's just the day of the week.
it just depends.
Yeah.
So, when I was coming on board and I was beginning coaching, the people that I worked with, I knew that they had my best interests at heart. Then the people we're working with in the brand.
Right.
Like me and them were family.
Yep.
So if they're going to give me feedback, it's not for them to feel better about themselves or for me to feel less or smaller than. Like they genuinely cared about my progress because of the relationship we had.
Yep.
So I feel like when I'm working with people, the very first time we hire them, they come hang out with me, the first time, I have to make that relationship because if I don't, then me giving them feedback could, depending on their personality, go the wrong way.
And you've got to make that relationship quick. They're not here for a long time to train with you.
Right. So it's got to be quick. And if they don't trust me, then depending on their personality, they might think, oh, well, she's just coming down on me, or she thinks she's the best coach, or she thinks so-and-so is better than me, when it's not like that. Like, if I'm on your team and I'm giving you feedback, it's because I genuinely want you to be better. It might be hard feedback, like when I tell someone, when it's something that's like personality, facial, voice, the sound of your voice.
We've got to do that many times.
It's hard. It's hard to tell someone, hey, the sound of your voice,
it's too squeaky.
It's too squeaky. And I'm like, oh, don't cry. But if I've created that relationship with them, like, okay, they want me to be better. She wants me. Yeah, she wants me to be better. Not, man, I'm here to ruin your day with my feedback. We go around and we do like quality checks with all of our coaches, and we have to give them feedback, like actual, like hard paper feedback that we hand to them, and no one's getting a 100. Right. So, our respect for each other is super important for me to give feedback, because if there's not a respect, if they think, oh well, Jessica she's over me, right? Then they're going to take that feedback and throw it out the window and say, what does she know?
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question.
It does. I am curious, and it's a little just throw a curveball at you.
Okay.
One, I think you're one of the most authentic people that I know. And I think you can't really teach authenticity, but you've also developed some skill set to earn trust quickly. Can you articulate what it is you do so quickly to earn that from people?
I think I value that authenticity, and so when I think about people that have that, I think about their listening skills and them taking genuine interest. Okay. So I have a lot to say. If someone's coming to me and they're with me for, let's pretend, 5 days. Okay. They came to Birmingham. They're from a franchise locations. I'm here for 5 days. I have a lot. We got to get through so much. But the authentic part of it is literally on my schedule. The first part of my meeting with them, there's nothing. Okay. Like, we're talking. Where are you from? Yeah. How'd you get here? Tell me about yourself. What about tell me about your family? Stuff that I genuinely don't have time for because we have so much stuff to do.
You do have so much to teach.
But I want to get to know their story because that helps me guide them. Yep. And I get to know kind of how they work and how they tick, so that I can do my job better. Yep. And they can do their job better and get there faster. Yep. So listening and taking genuine interest. Also, a lot of the things that I want it feels a little manipulative, but I promise.
We call it influencing.
Okay.
I think you need to influence them.
The things I want them to do with their client, I try to do to them while we're sitting in the conference room. Yep. So when we're sitting there studying, the questions and how I want them to interact with the client, I do here.
Okay.
So that they see it.
Yep.
And Iron Tribe's a feeling. And they get the feeling the way I'm interacting with them so that they can do that out there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So,
do you ever tell them that's what you've done?
you know, sometimes I do. So let's say we have 5 days of training, okay, and I have a group in here, and we start going along. Let's say day 3, it's Wednesday. We're talking about culture that day. So Wednesday we're talking about culture. Like, we have a whole thing we're going through on culture. Though it is bulleted, it's still a feeling. So I'll say, remember on day 1 when we did XYZ? Do you see how that mimics the Iron Tribe culture?
Oh, you tie it together like that.
Right.
That's
so
good.
I don't talk about it on day 1 when we did the thing, whatever it was.
Whatever.
If it's getting to know you, whatever the culture that I'm trying to build. I was like, you know, I was genuine when we talked about this on Monday, but
and it can be a teaching
this
tool.
this is why we did that, because of the culture of who we are, which is different. We're genuine. We listen. We're for people. That's why we did XYZ on Monday. So yes, sometimes I do point it out as a teaching moment.
Yeah, that's great. So tell me, when you're hiring and looking for the right fit, and I think this could transcend into a lot of businesses, but specifically in the fitness industry, what do you think, or what do you know now, because I think you're probably an expert in this out of most people, but what do you know are the top, let's call it 3 qualities when hiring that you're looking for?
So qualities, we'll say, like, I'm going to kind of split that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have, like, what your background is, right? And then, like, who you are.
Okay.
Okay, so background for what we do, there's not like a one size fits all.
Right.
You know, we have people that did sport coaching, personal training, real estate, marketing. So
they just played sports.
Right.
Yeah.
Sports team. You're coming straight out of college. You were college softball player, college football player, sports team. So all of those things I just named, previous experience. I'm not looking for a certain cookie cutter thing. Which I think is pretty cool, because I don't have to, say, oh, well, you don't have any fitness experience. That's a plus. We'll probably get you on the floor faster
if you have experience.
If you have fitness experience, fitness coaching experience, but it's not the everything.
Right.
Qualities, though, I feel like are really important.
Yeah.
I think
I feel like I already feel your pattern. You're like, I need everyone to understand.
I know. So we're very personality driven.
Yes.
Very. We do a personality test that's just for Iron Tribe, for what we hire for, to see if they're wired for what we do. That goes both ways.
Yes.
So, like, they're wired so that they can do the best job for the brand in the gym, but they do the best job, like, for them. So, like, if they'll
even like it.
Right. So if we bring someone on and their wiring, I'm like, oh, I like you so much, but your wiring says you're not gonna do well here. If I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna skip that, and I put them on the floor,
always right.
6 months, they're gonna go, oh, this is just not where I want to be. I'm like, I knew I should have just followed this test. And I might love them.
Yes.
And they might have the experience, but they're not wired to do what we do.
Yep.
It's different. It's different.
There's an energy level there.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so qualities, I would say confident.
Okay.
So confidence is contagious. So if you can come into a room and have confidence, you can carry a 45-minute session.
Yeah.
Okay? As long as I give you the tools on what we're doing, your confidence, if you're wavering at all, I feel like you are not going to bring the best out of people, because you have to be confident in you and confident in them to empower them, the client, to be the best versions of themselves. That is what a coach does. You are pushing them to be the best version. So confidence is huge. Confidence can come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, but confidence is not like haughty. It's not like I'm the best. So my next one's going to be humble.
I was about to say.
Okay?
Yep.
So you're confident in who you are, right? You can hold a conversation. You can look at people in the eye, shake their hands, ask them how their day is. You're authentic. But humble is, hey, I don't know everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we're working on a very small team,
Mm-hmm.
which our gym is staffed small,
Yeah.
if you're not humble, it's going to be really hard on your team.
Yes.
Because you have to be able to take feedback,
Mm-hmm.
especially coming in. So if there's a 3-person team and you're one new person
Mm-hmm.
on the 3-person team, and those other 2 have been here for years,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get feedback
Yes.
daily, right? Even if you were the hot shot over at the other gym down the street, you're coming here, you're brand new.
It's not the Iron Tribe way.
Yes, you
It
have.
doesn't mean they're wrong.
Right. You might be a freaking fantastic
Mm-hmm.
coach, but you've got to learn why we do what we do, how we do what we do,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to get feedback. So
Mm-hmm.
if you aren't humble, it's going to be too hard.
I feel like I see faces popping in your head right now of people that were humble.
If you're not humble, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know? So the humble, they take feedback easy,
Mm-hmm.
quick. They're ready to make a quick change
Yep.
so that they are better on the floor and the gym is better as a whole. So confident, humble, never met a stranger.
Oh, good.
So even though I am a little bit more introverted,
You are.
I'm very social.
Yeah.
So I could go talk to anybody.
Yep.
That comes from being confident.
I was about to say that's confident.
Okay.
It's not necessarily that you're social.
Right.
Yep.
So that's confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never met a stranger. So I can get
Yep.
in there
Mhm.
and say, hey, how's it going? You
Yep.
know, how long have you been coming? Are you like, what coach do you work with?
Mhm.
Right? So the ability to talk to somebody just right off the bat is huge. Because when you're working with people, that first impression is a make or break it situation, right? So if you got someone brand new coming in,
Mhm.
they, more than likely, if they just joined the gym, their confidence is lower.
Yep.
They're nervous. What's about to happen? Who are these people? Everyone knows everybody, and I don't know anybody. I'm out of shape, whatever. Their confidence is low. The coach is coming in. They cannot bypass and go, I don't know that person. I'm just going to go talk to these people over here until class starts. No. You are the facilitator of the conversation. You've got to get in there and carry the conversation.
Yep.
I'm not saying like it's an age thing, because I can name people right now that are freaking
Phenomenal.
22 years old, and they can carry the room and they can carry on conversations with strangers for a 45-minute session. But if you come in and you can hear a pin drop because they're not engaging,
Yep.
like that's going to be an issue. People are not going to be coming to a place like what we do, like if they don't have conversation.
Right.
And that coach is the initiator, not the client. The coach sets the temperature of the class with their engagement. So I would say confident, humble, never met a stranger. And then my own other little personal thing is I always think in the back of my mind, could I go eat tacos with them? Because if I couldn't go eat tacos with them, I don't know if it's going to work out.
Like, would you even want to?
Right.
We can all eat tacos.
Right. But if
are you excited? Are you like gonna get a babysitter for your kids?
Right, exactly. So I always think about that. Like, you know, the atmosphere of the gym is set by the coach's tone. And I don't want to say it, but if they're not cool, it's just not going to work, you know?
Are you going to make a sacrifice in your day
Right.
to just sweat?
Right. Because I could maybe go do that somewhere else. But I love going to Coach Alex's class.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I also want to eat tacos with her. So, you know, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's engaging. They carry the conversation. They're confident. They take feedback. And I kind of try to tease that out while I'm having that first interview with them. Trying to get a good, you know, pulse on what their confidence level is, how they carry this conversation. Am I talking the entire time?
Yeah.
Or are they talking? And then, you know, it's hard. Humble's a little bit harder because it's hard to see that until I kind of get them in.
I think you could watch for them asking questions. Just different little things that I'm sure you just pick up on.
Yeah, I will tell you this. If I'm doing a phone interview, listen, people. If I'm doing a phone interview and you, as the potential coach that we were going to hire, if your first question is, when can I work out?
Oh, you get that a lot.
It might not work out.
But what does that show you?
They themselves are their first priority. You know, I work out.
You do.
Okay, but that's not like my work and my clients and my relationships are the first and the most important.
Right.
So if you have an interview with me,
don't do that.
Don't be asking the first thing is, well, when's my workout time?
But also, you'll find out.
I'll find out.
Okay, so with that, if we take that, so we've got what we hire for. And one thing you've done for even longer than hire for is train. So franchise locations send their coaches here, which we all but require, because we know that the best thing for them to do is come train with you, come get in our culture, see how a gym is currently ran on all systems, all cylinders, thriving. When they leave here, because they're here with you for a short time, maybe 5 days, maybe they come for a certification also, what is most pertinent for you, where you're proud when they leave with 3 quality skills, you know you can pass them off and be proud of what you've done?
Yeah. So I'll backtrack a little bit just to kind of talk about why I love that. So I feel like everyone's different. Everyone's motivated differently, things that fill their internal cup, but I love teaching. Okay, that's how I am. Like, I love to teach my kids how to tie their shoes. Like, I'm like, oh, we get to tie our shoes.
Oh,
you know, I want to teach you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like, I just love teaching. I like taking stuff that's in my head and figuring out a way to get it to your head creatively, most successfully, or whatever. And that probably comes from the coaching gymnastics background and all the things you gotta learn.
Well, you'll even be in class and teach clients while you're in class.
Yeah, I can't help myself.
I know. So
I can't help it.
You.
Yeah, I can't help it. I love to teach.
Yes.
So when I came off the floor, so I coached forever. Homewood morning shift was my jam. But then I started having kids, and I was like, I can't be here at 5 o'clock. I have a newborn. I haven't slept in months. This is not going to work.
Yep.
I did a little bit of this and that just because of the seats on the bus with what was happening at Iron Tribe. And the seat on the bus with the training wasn't there yet. It was already filled. And eventually I was like, that seat's vacated. I would like this seat.
Yep.
I love teaching.
Yes.
So I almost got to get so excited because I had taken a little bit of a different route for a little while, not teaching. So now I don't teach the clients. Like, I coach the coaches how to coach.
Yep.
And I love that.
Yep.
I love it. So that's kind of my backstory. But when they come and hang out with me, you know, depending on if they're a franchise location coach or a corporate coach, their timeline looks different.
Yep.
But when they leave, when they're released to the wild of their own class, a few things that I need to make sure happen. Number one is they're on brand. Okay, so we do things a certain way. Yep. So it's not an accident that your class started on time and ended exactly 45 minutes later. Yep. It's not an accident that it was, you know, a 3 to 4 minute general warm up into a 6 to 7 minute specific warm up into a 3 minutes at the board. Yep. You ask certain questions, everyone lines up, everyone has the correct weight. You always say 3, 2, 1, go. You always start the clock a certain way. You always walk the floor a certain way. You have a coaching menu on how to actually coach and instruct.
There's so much that goes into it.
There's so much. How much you coach and how you coach and instruct movement pattern to people. All of that is not an accident. So if anyone walks into an Iron Tribe class like, oh, this is a breeze. No, they're good at their job.
Yep.
They're really good at their job.
They're following a system.
There's a system, right? And if anybody has gone from like shift to shift or location to location or state to state, you'll see that it is very branded. So when they leave me, they got to be on brand. So they know exactly, I call it the timings. They know exactly how many minutes are in each part of the 6-piece structure, where to stand, what to do. Yep. They're not a robot because they have to put on their personality. You know,
but it kind of lets
finesse.
them. They don't have to think about
exactly, which will be my other point in a second.
Oh, sorry.
But yes, that's exactly right. But so their brand, they're on brand. They know they could recite what I just recited. So if I say timings, they're like, oh yeah, 3 to 4, 6 to 7, 3, 24, 1, 3, 2, 1, tribe. You know, that's their timings. And I teach them how to do the timings.
Said that a few times.
Right. So I teach them how to do the timings. Yep. So I didn't know we're going to learn it, and then we're going to implement it.
Yep.
So number one is being on brand with the structure, timing, your coaching approach. How do you get people to move a certain way? And then number two is you're confident in all the scenarios.
Okay.
So every day is different.
Yep.
Every shift is different. Every class is different. You might have a class of 16, a class of 2.
You've got different class types.
Everything. Okay. So the scenarios, I want to make sure that we've gone through multiple scenarios. So yes, we're structured, 3 to 4 minutes, 6 to 7 minutes, 3 minutes, all that, right? But then there's life.
Yep.
Right? There's a walk-in. How do I deal with that? Well, I'm by myself at the gym. My manager just stepped out, or they're in a consult. How do I handle my 15-person class, but also correctly handle this person just watching the gym? Okay, I got that scenario. Next one. Okay, I've got a 15-person class. Someone comes into me and says, hey, I have this ailment, whatever, injury. How do I keep my class going and get this person the personal attention that they need and deserve so they can get a good workout in? So we go through each little scenario. And I feel like that those scenarios empowers them to make decisions.
That's great.
Right?
Yep.
So can we go through every scenario? No, we can't.
But you should do the ones that happen 80% of the time.
Right. But then if we get those out of the way, they understand kind of how things should flow, and then they're empowered to make decisions from an owner's mindset.
Yep.
Right? So they're like, I don't have to say, oh, let me ask my boss.
Yes.
That's your gym.
Yes.
Those are your clients. You are the leader.
Yep.
Right? Don't say, I got to ask my boss.
Why, and I'm not trying to get, but why do you think that coaches sometimes don't think they're the leader? Because they are. They're leading more people than even the manager.
I think they're afraid of making mistakes. If whoever their leader is, if that person doesn't empower them to make the decisions, and they're afraid, then they freeze. And then they're like, I'm not the leader. I have to go ask someone permission. But if their boss, manager, whatever the situation is, empowers them and celebrates their decisions, then they can be the leader.
And you're giving them the tools to go back and be empowered.
Yes.
Yep.
Like, you make the decision.
Yep.
You're the leader. This is your gym. This is not just a job. Like, you are leading people. I think that's probably the person that's probably the manager. Whatever the situation is at that type of facility. I think Iron Tribe does a good job of not setting people up for failure as far as empowering them, probably for a couple of reasons. Number one, the manager is doing this, that, and the other, and their expertise might not even be the coaching, but they don't need to consider themselves just a coach. No. We're not just a coach.
No.
Like, coaching in what we do,
the way we do it, maybe not every gym.
No, right. What we do with working with our clients, yes, fitness, yes, health and diet, all that's important. But when you get someone that comes in the door on their first day, low self-esteem, low self-worth, I'm worth nothing, I don't have a place I can plug into, I have no idea what to do with my diet, I don't like myself. And you get them doing something that they never thought they could ever do in their entire life. They're eating healthy, they're feeling good, they have more energy, their confidence is up. If their confidence is up from the stuff they do at the gym with their coach who has empowered them to be awesome, that translates over into real life.
Yeah. Better mom, better employee.
Everything. Like, it's crazy how that can happen. So that coach is not just a coach.
No.
Like, they are changing people's lives, literally. But they have to believe that.
True.
They have to believe that they're changing people's lives. I think the coaches that stop and kind of take a gauge of their clients, I think that their cup will be filled so that they can really feel the leadership. Like, I had one guy, actually I had two people, tell me, I was coaching, and these people didn't work out. It was still the same gym, but they didn't work out together. They weren't friends.
Okay.
And I just was like, hey, how's it going? You've been here for a year. Like, it's your tribe-iversary. Like, tell me, like, I know when you started and then now, like, I've seen what's changed on your physical appearance. But, like, what are you proud of? These two people, I'm not making this up. Two different people said, the things I've learned at Iron Tribe with fitness, like, I thank you. Like, I would have never done this. I never thought I could do this. Both of them said, I had very low self-esteem. And I was searching for what is life.
Oh, wow.
Like, what am I supposed to do with my life? Blah, blah, blah. And both people, 2 guys, said, I actually started my own business because my confidence went through the roof from the fitness I was learning at Iron Tribe in my little 6 o'clock morning class.
45 minutes with a coach.
So I feel like that was probably, I think it was 2013 because we had moved to the new gym. Because I remember where I was. But I didn't really think like that. So it made my perspective change.
Interesting.
That was
powerful for you to
That was a
remember.
perspective change for me to realize that, yes, I like fitness. Yes, I want to talk about your diet. But then to see how their self-confidence grew into them taking a chance on starting a business.
Which creates jobs and employees and other life change and spouses.
They both said they wouldn't have done it because their self-esteem was so low. But that once their self-esteem went up because of the gym, they took a risk.
That's amazing.
So anyway, I don't know. I kind of
got cut you off. So
I got a little sidetrack.
So franchisees.
Yes, on brand, confident in all the scenarios, and then being able to lead the shift without stress. So I'm going through this right now with a guy.
Okay.
So we've definitely hit all of our brand material.
Yep.
He knows all the timings. He knows how to approach and get people to move correctly. We've gone through a lot of scenarios. He's had some firsthand scenarios, but being able to release you into, we'll say like a 3-class back-to-back without stress.
Yes.
So once you're to that point, once he's at that point, like I have created my warm-ups, I have a game plan, I know all the movements are, I know how to address any like people that come in with injuries and how to modify for them. I got this, right? So right now we're kind of in the middle of, hey, show me your game plan for the day. I've already kind of done that so many times. Usually at the beginning I make adjustments or I'll ask questions like, well, what about this? What about this? You might not have enough time to do that you've written down for your warm-up. So we pretty much come to the point where like we're ready to go. Like his program that he's written is great. I don't have any changes to make on it, and he's ready to be released, and he's not stressed. So him not being stressed is really big.
Yeah.
Because if he gets in there like,
it's obvious.
Yeah. And then his experience is bad because he's stressed, and their experience is bad because he's stressed. So on brand, confident in life scenarios, and then being able to lead without stress. Like, I got this. I know all my brand stuff. I have my game plan. I'm confident in my game plan. My teammate is confident in the game plan. And sure, I got this. So I feel like at the end, there should be like a very clear, I know how to prepare. I know where the tools are if I don't know how to prepare. I know who to talk to if I need to bounce ideas off of. That's when I know, okay, you're ready to join the shift. You're ready to be the shift leader, wherever your next step is. But yeah, when they leave Birmingham, since it's a short time, a lot to cram in. But
those are big things.
I know. But the memorization is the brand, right? The role playing is the scenarios, and the reps is the stress. So trying to get all those things in. If they're a franchise, if they're a corporate coach, their timeline can look different. For a franchise, they're only here for a short amount of time, so we really pack in their whole day. Like, I'm like, hey, you need to buckle your seatbelt, you need to pack a lunch, and bring your workout clothes, and you're going to be with me all day. Literally 5 a.m. See you there.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So, to wrap it up, tell me, someone out there right now wants to work for Iron Tribe, someone owns a gym right now, maybe wants to turn it into an Iron Tribe, someone, did I say works for, wants to own, and maybe franchise, open a franchise. In general, we never talk bad about other brands, right? But in general, why are the services that you specifically, and this, it's funny, you list off all these qualities, confident, humble, and want to have tacos with, and I'm like, she's describing herself. Like, this is Jessica. So all of those things, why are you so confident in yourself to be able to do this? And I know that's hard for you because you're one of the most humble people. But what value do you really believe that you have to offer anybody who's going to come through our system?
Yeah. So I feel like the systematized way that we approach the training is pivotal. Because when they come, it's not just like, oh, well, let me just teach you some stuff. Like we have now an online platform, a very robust online platform that we have spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours to make sure that the material that's on there is something that literally you could go from an empty gym. I gotta find 2 coaches and I gotta get them on the floor in 4 months. Okay? If we can get you the material, it's not just let me just read through this, right? It's video after video with homework, with quizzes, with material you have to turn in. It's huge on what we can offer to someone that's starting from scratch. We have the luxury of being here for 13 years. Right? But I know someone coming in blind is like, what's going on? And I think the Iron Tribe does a really good job learning along the way on communication and how best to communicate the point. So, with that being said, someone coming in brand new, learning, it's all been done. I'm not saying it's easy. It's a lot.
No,
it's a lot of work. You can't just pour it out and just say, "Oh, let's go, let's start it." But the system that we've built, me and the team that's here, the experience that we've had, learning from our mistakes.
Yes, which we've had many.
It's interesting because I can think of the very first, I would say, mentoring situation. This was when we were at the first gym.
Okay.
Mentoring situation. So what, 2012.
Okay.
Mentoring. So I wasn't educating them, but I was supposed to be mentoring them.
Got it.
And I just thought, like, you're here, you move good, you can coach.
Yep.
This isn't hard. But I've been coaching for so long. And I've been coaching gymnastics before that, which is similar to movement patterns and communication.
Yep.
And I felt like I didn't need to talk to this new coach as a kindergartner. I was like, oh, I don't want to be condescending.
Yes.
So, like, just watch.
I
just
get that.
watch, You're just going to, like, osmosis. Like, you're just going to get it, But not everyone's like that.
Nope.
And in my opinion, I failed. Like, it was a bad fail. It was a seriously bad fail. Because I'm like, they should just know it. Like, I like you. You like fitness. I like fitness. You could be a coach.
Yep.
And it didn't work. So now that we have the tools and we've learned from our mistakes, and for me to go, okay, I'm going to have to chop this up into small little pieces and just deliver little bites at a time so you can digest it, so that you can learn the entire product. But yeah, I mean, I think that a potential coach, franchise owner, you can get this. Right people.
Right.
Got to find the right people, like we talked about at the very beginning. With those certain
we can
skill
teach them
set.
anything,
But
if they're the right
anything.
person.
Yeah. Like the people I can think of people that were just freaking stellar coaches, and I'm like, oh, what were you doing? Oh, you were a real estate agent.
Yep.
You have never coached ever in your entire life, but you love fitness because it's your passion. You're like, I just work out over here, but actually sell houses.
Right.
Okay, well then all I gotta do is teach you how we do it.
Yep.
You already have the passion. You already have the people skills. I gotta teach you the how, and you're good.
Yep.
It'll take a little minute, but
Last question. In your 13 years of Iron Tribe, what are you most proud of?
Man, that's a good one.
Curveball. This is your time to brag too, because you have made massive impacts.
What am I most proud of? It's a good question. I think personally, I'm most proud that I still have a passion for what we do, and I find the time to make it happen.
You do.
It's not easy for me to kind of configure my schedule because, like you said, I have 3 kids, young kids.
Yep.
Everyone always has something sick.
Yep.
Or whatever.
All the moms out there get it.
All the things. But I'm proud that I haven't given up.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Because you have every reason. I mean,
I could just say I'm not going to do this, but it genuinely fills my cup, and I genuinely feel like I'm making an impact.
Yep.
On people.
I don't think it's a feeling. I think it's a fact, but yes.
So I'm proud that I haven't just said, I can't do it, it's too hard.
Yeah.
You know? And then maybe I'm proud of our videos that we got there.
Oh, yes, girl. That's an excellent training platform.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's great.
I mean, I don't know. I
think if there's anything, and not that it's not for me to be proud of you, but one thing I think that is always so impactful is to see what you kind of started off with, which was the relationships. I think you could call in a favor, and you wouldn't, but I think you could call in a favor to anyone who has ever come through your training, because I think you create lasting relationships and genuine impact in such a short amount of time. Like, I really believe you could call and be like, hey, I need your help, and almost everyone who's ever gone through your training would show up for you.
They'll be very kind. I mean, I would hope so.
I really believe. I mean, I believe it. I see it.
But I genuinely care about people.
Yep.
Like, that's, I want them to have success, and that's like coach to coach.
Yep.
You know, I want them to succeed. I want them to be the rock star that I know they can be. Sometimes people just need a little bit more, like, pumping in some confidence. You know.
Yes.
But yeah, that's very kind to say.
It's true.
But I love people, and I don't know, the art of people. You know, because coaching can be very cold and robotic, military feeling. But Iron Tribe is to me, the coaches have heard me say that. It's a feeling. Yep. I know for a while y'all be like, hey, I need you to make me a system on XYZ. I'm like, it's a feeling. Like, it's hard.
But you made it a system that can create a feeling.
Yeah, I want it to be
with the right people.
Yeah, I want it to be a feeling because it's, I don't know, it's impacted my life, you know? So I know it can positively impact the coach's life, their new coach coming in.
Yeah.
Putting them in a situation where they're coaching 40 hours a week, salary, benefits, paid time off, in a fitness space, which is unheard of.
Yep.
Everyone I talk to, because I do the first phone call.
I know.
All these interviews, like, one time I had 65 in 2.5 weeks interviews, okay?
You were ready to kill me.
Everybody I talk to, they're like, 40 salary, 40 hours a week, benefits, paid time off, like, what the heck? But for them to see this as their career,
yes,
you know, like, it's huge. But I love that. I love when I get to, like, share that. I'm like, oh, you're coming on board. Like, you get to have a real fitness job. And you're not just doing something for trade. Maybe you love it, but you're not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
And now you're getting paid for it.
Yep.
So.
I love it. Well, I'm sure I'll have you back on now that you got your first podcast.
I'm not shaking anymore. I was shaking so bad.
So just a conversation. We're just talking. We do that a lot anyway. So
yes.
I'm sure I'll have you back on. We'll figure out some good topics. Maybe we'll get more granular on what that looks like on the floor or just personality traits. I think all of the value that you have of 13 years, I don't even know that you have it, so I'll have to pluck it out of you and make you speak to what's natural. But anything else, final words?
No.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me be on and chat with you about the things that make me so excited.
I love it. If anybody is only listening to this podcast, the last 2 minutes, you need to see her entire body and face light up if you do not believe this girl is passionate. So
very passionate.
I'll get a screenshot of that and post it because your whole, like, just childlike Christmas morning aura when you talk about it. So it's great. So,
well, thanks, Karen.
Yeah, thanks, Jess.